So for this video, we're going to be announcing the new readathon that's going to be happening on the Bookish Drummer Discord in July. Battle of the Bands 4 movie soundtracks.
Yeah. Should be a good time.
And a video. So like I said, this time around, it's movie soundtracks. And these songs were chosen from movies, and the songs were made popular because of the movies.
Yeah.
And not just famous songs that are in movies. So for example, something like Wayne's World has the song Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, which was already way popular before the movie.
Right, so that's not the one we included.
No, so all of these songs are famous because of the movies. And the teams this time around are as follows. We have Team Action, which is actually co-captained by Nico and Pat Sava. And we have Team Animated, which the team captain is Ian, the reader. And then we have Team Comedy, which is me as team captain. And then we have Team Dance, and the captain for that is Nala from Here There Be Stories.
Of course. We're so happy that all of our co-captains wanted to return and that we get to add in our mod Pat this time.
So for this video, we're basically going to go over the rules and how it all works. It's essentially the same rules and setup as the last round we did in April, except we are adding the new concept of encore readers, and we'll get to that a little later in the video. But we are going to go over the rules briefly here, just in case y'all are new or you're not sure what's going on.
So the first rule of the readathon is 1 prompt per book and 1 book per prompt. There's no doubling up.
So the books that you choose, either a novel, a novella, or a collection, they have to be at least 150 pages in order to count for the readathon.
Yeah, so if you want, you can read a novella that's part of a bind-up and just count that novella as long as it, in and of itself, is more than 150 pages of the book. It doesn't have to be something that's published separately. It just has to meet that minimum 150-page requirement.
Or if you're reading a short story collection and only one of the short stories fits for that prompt, you can count it, but you have to read the whole collection and not just that one short story.
Yeah, exactly.
We're also not counting graphic novels, manga, comics, or any other type of picture books. We're only going word-based books.
Yeah, we think this rule makes it a little bit more fair, keeps everyone on more of a level playing field.
And the prompts can be read in any order. You do not have to start with your team's prompts in order to move on to other ones. You can do them in any order that you would like to.
Yeah, this is great for mood readers or people who are trying to work around library or maybe Everin timing.
And it can also be good strategy.
Yeah, you can definitely strategize as a team or just by yourself on how you want to affect the points come each update.
All of the prompts are open to your interpretation. We always get a lot of questions of like, oh, can this book count? Can this book count? As long as you use basic common sense, you should be able to count it.
Yeah, but I mean, if you do want an opinion or you want to double check, or if you thought of a new creative way you might be able to stretch a prompt, you can always ask us in the FAQ channel in the Discord.
And the point system is basically the same as it always has been. If you read a prompt for your team will gain 30 points. And if you read a prompt for an opposing team, that team will lose 10 points. So say I'm on Team Comedy and I read a comedy prompt, my team will gain 30 points. But if I read a prompt for Team Dance will lose 10 points. You cannot choose who to take points away from. So if I read a Team Dance prompt, I can't say, oh, well, I want to take away points from Team Action. You have to take away the points from the team that you're reading from.
Right. From the team who the prompt belongs to.
So during the readathon, we will have some mystery bonus challenges that will pop up every once in a while. We normally have 2, and one will kind of come earlier in the month, and one might be a little later. We don't want to say what they are currently, but if you do them, for every bonus challenge that you do, your team will be awarded 10 additional points.
Yes, and these are non-reading related challenges, so you don't have to stress about fitting in extra books for that.
And they are usually very fun.
Yes.
And the last few rounds we've done music related ones, and people, whether they're musically inclined or not, have been submitting, and it's a lot of fun to watch them.
Yeah.
This round is about movie soundtracks, so it may or may not be movie related.
Yeah, we'll have to. Do we even know what the bonus challenges are yet? Or are they to be determined? Usually the captains come together and figure it out closer to the start of the actual readathon. So we have suggestions out there, but I don't know if we've finalized what we're actually doing. So for this round, we're adding in a new twist, if you will, and we're calling it the Encore Reader. And what this means is this is somebody who has volunteered. They're not required. They can sign up to if they want to read above and beyond the 20 books to help gain points for their team if one of their teammates is absent, MIA, and hasn't submitted any books. So the way this will work is an Encore Reader will be capped at 25 books instead of 20. They have to finish their initial 20 books first, and they have to be told, like, hey, you're actually needed as an Encore Reader. You have a teammate who hasn't submitted anything. And then at that point, they can go ahead and read 5 additional books that will always gain points for their team. But they can choose any of the 20 prompts to do over again. So you don't have to do your own team's prompts over again. You can do any 5 prompts of your choosing over again for the extra 5 books.
And this will be beneficial because usually on all of the teams, there's maybe 1 or 2 people that don't submit. Maybe that life got busy for them, or maybe they just forgot. So the Encore Readers will definitely help out and gain more points for their teams.
Yeah, it should keep it more competitive and more interesting. So if you are an Encore Reader and you do end up being needed as one and you submit an Encore book, that book still gains your team 30 points, same as the other books you would read to gain points for your team.
And those books are under the same requirements. They have to be word-based books, no manga or comic books, and they have to be at least 150 pages still.
Yeah. And then the last important thing to note about Encore Readers is they can still only submit 1 bonus challenge for themselves. They can't do an extra set of bonus challenges.
So the maximum amount of books an Encore Reader can submit is 25. The 20 initial ones and the 5 additional ones.
Yeah.
If you have any questions about Encore Readers or basically anything about the Readathon, we will have an FAQ channel in the Book Astronomer Discord under the Readathon stuff, and it'll have tons of questions that Stacey lined up. And if those still don't answer your questions, you can always message either one of us and we'll get back with you.
Or just ask us in that channel too.
Yeah.
I set it up so people can type there. So I think the main thing that's different this round because of Encore Readers is instead of signing up for your team within a channel in the Discord, we actually went ahead and created a sign up form. And the reason we did this, well, there were 2 reasons. One, because of Encore. So we thought it would be a really easy way for people to note, hey, I'm willing to be an Encore Reader, or no, I'm not interested. I'm not up for reading 25 books. And then the second reason is we're going to ask you to predict roughly how many books you think you're going to read in the readathon. So every year when we do these readathons, I always have a rough idea about how much each team will probably read based on the team members on the team that I know. But it's kind of always been a gamble when we have people new to the readathon signing up. So this just helps me make sure the teams are a little bit more even and just predict the number of books you think you'll actually read during the readathon. So you don't have to have an exact prediction either. All of the predictions for this are in ranges. So I think it's 1 to 5, 5 to 10, or 6 to 10, or whatever. You'll see on the sign up form anyway.
We're going to try our best, like we usually do, with this additional information about how many books people believe that they're going to read. We're going to try our best to make the teams as even as possible.
Yeah, makes it more of a competition and more of a race to the finish.
So now let's get to everybody's favorite parts of these videos, where we go over the prompts.
Yeah.
So the first section we have is team action. And for the first prompt, we have Danger Zone, which of course is from the movie Top Gun. And it's a book that includes flight, which could be, dragons, planes, spaceships, some sort of flight option there. In prompt number 2, Mission Impossible, of course, another Tom Cruise movie, Mission Impossible. And the prompt is a book in a long or ongoing series. And I think we defined this as how many books? 5
or more.
5 or more books. So if the series has 5 or more books, read any book in that series and it can count. In prompt number 3, You're the Best, which of course is from The Karate Kid. And the prompt for this one, a book by a highly regarded author or a book that has a high average Goodreads rating. And of course this is up to your interpretation. Kind of depends on genres too sometimes. So like a really high fantasy Goodreads rating could be like 4.2, or maybe for horror it would just be 4. But of course it's up to your interpretation. And highly regarded author could mean that they have like a lot of ratings on Goodreads, or just a super famous author, or even just in your friend group or small corner of BookTube, like which author is talked about a lot. And for prompt number 4, we have Eye of the Tiger, which is from Rocky 3. And for the prompt, we have a book featuring an underdog or a character facing seemingly insurmountable odds. And prompt number 5, the last prompt for team action, is Princes of the Universe, which is from the movie Highlander, which is kind of like a fantasy movie if you've never seen it before. And the prompt is There Can Only Be One. Read a standalone. Pretty self-explanatory. Read a standalone.
So the first prompt for Team Animated, prompt 6, is You've Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story, of course. And this prompt is to read one of the Discord group or buddy reads that are going to be happening on the server in the month of July. And so I know for sure we have a list in the FAQ channel of what they are, but we could quickly mention what they are here.
We've got Ray Bradbury Book Club with Fahrenheit 451. We've got Age of Swords from Legends of the First Empire. We've got Harry Potter, although that's kind of a longer book.
We're up to number 5.
Yeah, we've got Thrill, Chill, or Kill. We're doing Riley Sager that month.
Yep.
We got a ton of stuff going on.
Yeah, you and Ian are hosting one that you're going to be buddy reading, a Murakami book.
Norwegian Wood.
And Pat, Sava, and I are also both going to be buddy reading a nonfiction book about a girl's escape from North Korea, and it's called In Order to Live. So that's an option too if you want to hop in that.
Plenty of options to choose from.
Yes, and there may be more coming too. Like if any of the other captains or hosts want to host another one, we can always add it. Or if you don't like any of the options we've listed, maybe you want to find a buddy doing the readathon and come to us and say, hey, we want to make this one of the buddy read channel options. Can you give us a channel for it? And we'll do that. So prompt 7 is Hakuna Matata from Lion King. And this is to read a book with a laid back character. And prompt 8 is You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. And this is Christmas in July, read a book set at Christmas time. And funnily enough, this was actually the song that prompted the whole idea behind the readathon.
Oh boy.
Because I was like, how funny would it be to have the Grinch song?
In July.
In July. Because why not? Christmas in July is a thing for people in the Southern Hemisphere for sure. So for prompt 9, we have All Star from Shrek. And this is to read a book that's won some kind of award. So this doesn't necessarily have to be like a super fancy highbrow literary award. It can be anything. So it could be like a Goodreads Choice Award. It could be a Spiffbo winner. It could be
a Hugo or Nebula
yeah,
award.
It can be like a more official type of award. But yeah, you can interpret this to whatever you want. Also, I know some booktubers do like a year, like do their own awards at the end of the year. So you could use anything that's in one of those too.
My top 10 books of the year, maybe.
Well, no, it has to be one that's formatted in like some kind of award. But like, so perfect example of this, like Slowly Read does the Grimmies, like the Grimdark nomination award. So you could go look at some of his old videos to see what's won a Grimmie and pick something from there.
Do I need to make my own award show?
You could.
Oh boy.
And prompt 10 is Sunflower from Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man, of course. And this is to read a book with a plant on the cover. And we will accept trees as plants.
And they can even be tiny plants on the cover. It doesn't have to be like the whole thing. If like, oh, there's a tree in the background or there's a sunflower over here. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, it can work.
And now we come to the prompts for the best team. Team Comedy.
Oh, really?
Yes. And for number 11, we have Ghostbusters. Can you guess what movie that's from?
Oh, gee, I wonder.
And the prompt is a book with suspected or confirmed paranormal activity. So it can either be a horror book or a thriller that you know has paranormal activity, or it can be like you read the premise and you're like, oh, this could go either way.
Yeah, but you could also take this to like paranormal fantasy, like if it includes vampires or werewolves. I think we also said we'd be okay with stretching it to fae.
Sure.
Yeah, so anything like that, you're good.
And then we have the song Canned Heat, which is from one of your favorite movies, Napoleon Dynamite. If you don't know the song, it's from the scene where, what's his name? Napoleon. Yeah, Napoleon, duh. It's where he has the dance scene, and that's the song he dances to.
Yeah, at the talent show.
So the prompt for that is a last-minute addition to your TBR.
Yes, because he was a last-minute addition to the talent show.
Yeah, so this could be a book that you kind of choose maybe like at the last minute or last week or so. You're like, oh, you know what? I want to read this book.
It could be a library hold that rolled in unexpectedly. It could be a surprise. Hey, let's buddy read this book.
Or a book that you're like, hey, I just bought this. Like, I want to read it now.
Yep, definitely. Any of those can work. You can definitely interpret this in whatever way you want.
And for prompt 13, we have The Power of Love. Of course, the Huey Lewis song from Back to the Future, which is kind of like a sci-fi comedy. And the prompt for that is a book featuring unlikely friends. In prompt 14, we have Always Look on the Bright Side of Life from from the Monty Python movie Life of Brian. And the prompt for this is a book with a funny or ironic title. And of course, this is up to your interpretation.
Yep.
And for number 15, the last prompt for Team Comedy, the best team, is Scotty Doesn't Know, which is from the movie Euro Trip from like 2004.
I don't know what year it was, but it was that era for sure.
Yeah, definitely that era of comedy if you haven't seen it before. And the prompt is a book that involves deception of any kind.
So next up we have Team Dance, and this is kind of what we've called the culmination of romance and musical videos or movies.
As long as they involve dance.
Yes. So prompt 16 is You're the One That I Want from Grease, of course. And it's to read a book that has a special edition that you want. And this can kind of be interpreted in many ways. So it can either be a special edition you already have that you want to keep. It could be a book that has a special edition you think is pretty and you might want it if you like the book, so you need to read the book and find out. Or it could just be a book with a special edition that you want in your dreams that you know will never really happen because it's super expensive, but you think it's pretty and you want it. So prompt 17 is I've Had the Time of My Life from Dirty Dancing, of course, and it's to reread an old favorite. Prompt 18 is Footloose from the movie Footloose. What? I wouldn't have guessed. And it's to read a book that's been banned. And this could be like banned from a school library. It could be banned from a library. I think we would also take like a book that's been challenged a lot of times, even if it was never like officially banned, I guess.
We will have book banned lists pinned in somewhere on the Discord.
So prompt 19 is Staying Alive from Saturday Night Fever. And this is to read a book by an author with either a B or G initial.
Because of the band, the Bee Gees.
Yeah, we thought it was a fun wordplay. And the last prompt, prompt 20, is A Million Dreams, based on The Greatest Showman. And this is to read a book with an inspirational character or story.
So the last day to sign up for this readathon that starts in July, the last day to sign up is June 30th. So, of course, the link will be down below. And once we assign the teams, once we assign you to a team, you'll be linked to the team chat that you're in. And you guys can chat amongst your teammates.
Yeah, it's going to be really important for you to join the Discord because that's probably where scoreboard updates are happening. It's where all the bonus challenges are going to be, and it'll give you access to your team chat.
Yes, so sign up for the Readathon and the Boogastormer Discord down below.
So once you're in the Discord, or if you want to look at the Google Doc linked below that compiles all the Readathon information, you'll see that there's if you're in the Discord, you'll see the graphics, info, and resources channel, and there's a bunch of goodies in there. So that's got the link to like the story graph challenge if you want to track your TBR there. It's got a Google Doc TBR tracker page. It's got a Spotify playlist of all the songs if you want to get hyped for the readathon that way. It's got TBR tracker graphics where you can like screenshot them and then use like Canva or whatever to put your own book covers on there, and like you check mark graphics or whatever you want to do. And then as you read books, obviously we'll want you to fill out this submission form. And new this time, I have added a thing on the submission form where at the very bottom there will be a toggle switch, and you can say send me a copy of my submission to my email. So everyone's going to have to provide their email address, But if you don't actually want a copy, I don't think it matters what sort of gibberish you put into that field as long as it's formatted like an email address. If you actually want a copy of your submission, make sure you put your actual address. And then obviously when we're looking at submissions, we have the column for email addresses hidden, so none of us will be using anyone's email or looking at it. This is just for people who requested a way to keep track of what they've already submitted.
And another thing about submissions while we're on it, don't be a dick and submit all of your stuff at the very end. We encourage everybody to submit their books as soon as possible when you read them, so that we get live updates on scoreboard updates.
Or at least submit it for the week the day before the update, and we'll issue a reminder on the Discord to say, hey, we're doing a scoreboard update tomorrow, so like in the next 24 hours submit your books read for the week if you haven't yet.
We don't want people to submit 20 books at the very end and cause a lot of chaos.
Yeah, well, we want the scoreboard updates to be accurate because it helps teams strategize about who they want to read prompts for that week or what they're gonna do, so it makes it more fun.
So that's about it, but I do want to give some people some thanks. I want to thank our returning captains, Nico, Nala, and Ian. They're always a lot of fun to chat with and to do live shows with. And we want to thank our new co-host, Pat Sava, who is actually a mod on the Bookish Drummer Discord.
Yes, all these people are fantastic. They're a lot of fun, and they always have great ideas when we're brainstorming with these readathons.
And of course, we got to thank the real MVP, Stacey, who is the real brains behind this operation, coming up with all of the graphics and just doing a bunch of stuff that I would never be able to figure out.
Yeah, the administrative stuff. But to be fair, I feel like you could figure it out. It would just take you a while to figure it out.
We wouldn't be having 3 readathons a year if it was me.
Maybe.
So, you're the MVP.
Thanks, babe.
All right, so that about sums everything up. Down below will, of course, be the sign-up form, the Bookish Drummer Discord sign-up, and the Google Doc, which has all of the pertinent information of the readathon available for y'all.
Yep.
So that's all we have for you today. Hopefully you're excited as we are for Battle of the Bands 4 movie soundtracks.
Yeah, these readathons are always a great time, and you guys are what makes it so fun. So thank you very much for being interested, for joining, for reading along with us, for sharing your experiences, and we always love to see when people smash their reading goals.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. I have my Patreon link down below and my Amazon wishlist. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a fantastic day. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, and by the way, just some small news to add. We're married.
Yeah, just little small news.